All right, so good to have you back. It's still the CRBC studios where we are having our live by-elections here in the city of Calabar. Don't forget that 10 political wards today would be at Akpabio would be electing their choice of a legislator at the state level. And at the national level, 21 polling units would be out there to ensure that they pull out who they want to be leading them, representing them at the Federal House of Representatives. Now, talking of representation, House of Assembly, State House, Federal House, we have the #1 legislator in Cross River State. Is a seasoned politician, a grassroots politician at that, and one would say his humility personified. Let me quickly recognize and introduce to us this morning the Honorable Speaker of the Cross River State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Eteng Jonas. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. So good to have you join us.
Good morning, and good morning, Cross Riverians.
Thank you for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Definitely, definitely.
Fine studio.
Yeah, I think this is the first time welcome to our international studio, Mr. Speaker. This is the first time we're having a guy here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's quickly start now. We know that yesterday you laid the remains of your late colleague to rest by valedictory service. Let's talk about that a little before we kickstart the conversation.
Yeah, it's tough and difficult to talk about it because losing a member, becoming too many. This is the fourth in less than 8 years. So for me, traumatic. And for us in the legislature, it's not a good development. So, and for the woman of substance, a strong woman, she called me son. I can't remember any day she called me Mr. Speaker. So you can imagine, it's really touching. So that has gone.
Can we share some memories of her in the house, in the hallowed chamber?
Yeah, she's very interesting. And sharing a committee like the Women Affairs NDDC, and also initiating a bill, the violence against persons with disability and the persons. We simply call that law violence against women. That law was initiated in 2000 in the 8th Assembly, but it was not assented, and then we took it again. This time, because of her condition at the time, because she has been sick for a long time. Regina Ayogo, the member representing one state constituency, took over the bill, and we passed it. And I got an award just 2 weeks ago on that bill by a women group in Abuja. And to me, I dedicate that award to her, and the First Lady of this state, who also pushed for that law to be passed. I was not resting. She was calling me every minute, every day, that it must. And you know how passionate women are when it comes to women and children. And Right Honorable Elizabeth Ayamba, anything that has to do with women, children, humanity, she's always at top of her game.
Okay, let's talk about that bill a little bit now. Was it just because of the push, from different quarters that actually made you push that bill and make it?
No, it's my responsibility for a bill to be passed. I mean, I'm a legislator and I'm not a speaker. It's not whether you pushed, it must go through the normal process. Maybe they were expecting the processes to be very fast. We don't do that. We go into details. Every bill must go through the different stages of a bill, and that was what happened.
But at some point, you could be trashed. That you made it fly. So what was it about the bill?
For me, as a speaker, my responsibility is for a bill that is for the interest of cross-variance, interest of the state, interest of every well-meaning human being should fly, because posterity will judge you based on your achievement this period. I am conscious of the fact that whatever I do now, it will be used either for or against me and my children.
Mr. Speaker, we see a woman who her seat was vacant since October when she died, and today we are having elections, and you're not hoping to see a woman fill that space. How would you feel? How do you feel about that? Because it's either a man from the AFC or a man from the PDP will fill that space. I'm sure it will be quite touching. Remember, anytime you see where she used to sit, the late Ayomba, you feel, wow, Ayomba was supposed to be there, but you now see a man taking over there. How do you feel about that?
I won't look at it that way, but The point is, there are two, three, four political parties. A woman might come in from a Labour Party or any other party and win. At this point, I won't say this person is going to. I know you're looking at it from the APC, PDP point of view, but I think the other parties, I don't think it's only a two-party affair.
No, but where I'm driving is that it was a woman that occupied that seat. But now we're not.
I think your question should go to the political parties.
We're not saying no. As a speaker, how would you feel about it?
No, you feel definitely bad that.
Yes,
I mean, you had five. I had five
women.
5 girls, 5 women. I mean,
one is
you
missing.
can imagine, and one is missing. You must definitely feel it. And that one that is missing used to call me my son. And now, no, I mean, the ones there, they are not calling me my son. So you can imagine that.
You miss that.
You miss her. No, we miss her terribly. On a serious note, we miss her.
Okay, let's.
She's a prayerful woman, and I remembered when I had my rerun. I've gone through what they are going through now in Magbabi and Nigeria, so I remembered she arranged a prayer team and all those stuff for me. And, you know, such a woman. I mean, I know she's in heaven.
Definitely. I know the house would sorely miss her.
Sure.
But I think we just have to move to what Nigerians saw yesterday as, would I say victory to democracy? But as Mr. Speaker, let's look at your thoughts. Most Nigerians did not anticipate His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, giving his assent to that bill yesterday. How did this get to you?
No, to me, from the one I know he will sign, I have that freedom. First, there were flaws in the electoral bill, and then the Mr. President proved to us that he goes through the bill before signing, and then the bill was returned, and amendments were made. And now, what reason are you giving us? I'm a Democrat. Looking at that bill, I've gone through it, I've read it. One of the best things that has happened to democracy. I mean, from experience, you will know that there is need for us to amend it. There is need for us for the Mr. President to sign it. I mean, I will be surprised even if the House failed to veto, if Mr. President failed, because this is for the interest of democracy and the defense of Nigerians.
Okay, so let's still talk about the bill now. Do you think that it will boost INEC in any form?
I think the whole thing is
political parties in checks.
I think the whole thing is boosting INEC. I've gone through this. I've run elections like 6 times. In election, I would have just done 3 times. I'm a product of that, and you see where INEC does not have that capacity, legal backing for them to do certain things. A man hijacks elections or asks officials to write a figure under gunpoint, and then you say because it has entered the sheet, only the courts can remove it. What if there's no proof? I think at that time. But now you have a power. INEC is being boosted that if they know it is under duress, they have that power to cancel. Apart from that, you prepare the elections for 1 year. The budget of the next election should be done for a year before that time. I mean, these are all boosts. Before, also, for you to cancel any result, it must be at the polling booth only. Even if it's at gunpoint and they did not cancel it at the polling booth, INEC has no power to say, yes, we watch it, but the polling booths did not cancel it. But now it is not so. Then you have to also parties to prepare yourself. 3 months to elections, you should have your candidates. Do everything you're doing. Let us prepare. Not the one that a man will win an election, then the next thing you hear, election matter that will remove him. We've seen in this country where the man was not in the ballot box, was not in the ballot papers, did not contest election, but today he sits at the, not just only the governor, I mean also in the Senate. You can see, we've seen that, I mean, so with all this experience, that's where experience really counts. Has really taught Nigerians, we need to work on our laws. The laws we inherited, let me put it on quote that, some of them have flaws. So right now, let us keep correcting them. We will get better as we progress in democracy. That's the beauty of democracy.
Definitely. Okay, let's look at one of the issues that the president had to send back, one of the clauses, which was the direct primaries. Now that has been sorted out. But let's look at the electronic transmission of results. You know, at some point there was a contest that where the ICC man was brought. INEC said they have the powers to transmit results electronically. So, Mr. Speaker, do you think this is an advancement in democracy?
The beauty of what has happened is it's going to be across the country. What we are saying has been happening in Cross River, where elections are being transmitted. You hear about the car reader even in court. But is that the same scenario up north? Is that the same scenario where you have 1 million votes, even when there is a war? You understand? But now, a lot of all those things will be checked. Allow INEC that power. They have the wherewithal, trained to conduct election. And they said, we are transmitting electronically. Allow them. They should decide the method to use. You don't decide for them. Why then did you set up the agency? You should give the agency that free power and everything for him to function. So, to me, it's one of the best things that has happened. Yes, as we progress, we will improve. It will delay. Most times, we have that. But there are also certain things, stops that. INEC, normally, they said, no, if the car reader is not working, there is a form you fill, incident form, and all those things. Then allow INEC that leverage. It is their elections. They are the umpires. I mean, you train somebody, you spend so much money, allow the person to do his work.
Definitely. Okay, so you made mention of the North coming with millions of, votes, even when there is war in such areas. Are you trying to say that maybe that was the initial fear, and that's why we had that back and forth when it came to electronic transmission of results?
I can't say a particular set of people again. I mean, I'm only using an example to show, but in fairness, that fear is there. And what is right is right. I can't sit here and start supporting what is not right. Let us use it. You will see that even the votes will reduce. I'm sure of that. I've gone through elections. I've done 6 elections. I've gone through reruns. I've done everything. I know that, yes, in an election, by the time you queue, by the time they vote and they check, you won't be hearing jumbo votes. 1 man, 1 vote. Then, before you wake up, you hear 40 million votes coming from the polling booth. Come on. It's not possible.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you remember very well in 2015 in Kogi State when the late Abubakar, that threw up a serious legal tussle because this man, obviously he was leading the poll, but he died during the elections. And now this electoral bill has given, I think clause 34 has given, make it very clear, give political parties power to conduct a primary election to replace a candidate who died during an election. Talk to us on this, sir.
That is just an answer to that. I mean, a man was leading. He's a candidate of a party. I mean, 2 days or a day to the election, he died. Allow that alone, number one. The circumstance of the death, we don't want to know about. Let us have at least behave like human beings and know that, let's give them time. They said 21 days or so for them to conduct their primaries and field a candidate. Because sometimes you don't just vote the party, you vote the candidate. If you present a wrong candidate, like me, I won't vote a wrong candidate. Not just I won't only vote the party because you bring up or you put up a candidate that maybe cannot read or write, then because it's my party, I'll go and vote no. And that is what is going to play up in Ogojayala constituency. Most people are going to vote based on the personalities of the candidates. I'm very sure of that.
Okay, I think we should also look at clause 84 that stipulates that anyone holding a political office, minister, commissioner, special advisor, and others must relinquish the position before they can be eligible to participate in the electoral process, either as candidates or even as a delegate. Is that not too stringent?
No, except it has always been there, but except for being a delegate.
Yes, that's why I said
the
it's
introduction.
Not too,
But for me, if you want to participate, come out openly and do it well. They don't want you to have the advantage of your office. It is only in the legislature that, because you are voted for 4 years, and the period of the elections, they won't stop it. If it is 4 years or a governor, they said you have to step down, then that will be subtending the electorate. But for those ones that are appointed, I don't see any reason why. To me, this is also a boost.
Definitely. But Mr. Speaker, some legal experts are saying that this bill is making INEC too powerful.
Why did you give somebody a job? Allow him, make him powerful for him to. That is the more reason why, if you are appointing or employing, you should do a background check on the person, so that that person will not do what we call the absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
So you don't just because you're INEC chairman, then you start acting anyhow or to violence. So for me, it is good for our democracy. Sometimes let it be tough for us to align well, but as we progress, if it is too much, the law can be amended. I mean, that's the beauty of the legislature.
Okay, let's talk about INEC now. Since we're still on net, and I think before you came, we had calls to our correspondents in different parts of the state where these elections are being held. Justine said that in Ugoja Yala, where she was at the INEC office, materials were just moving to the voting sites. But the story is different, in Akpabu now. Can we say that INEC is really prepared for this? Because lateness of arrival of materials has been one issue or challenge that INEC has had, for a long time now.
I won't speak for INEC, and for me, you're right. It has been a big challenge. I've gone through it. You'll be waiting at your polling booth for God knows maybe up to 11 o'clock for election that's supposed to start by 8. They need to improve. They need to work on themselves and know that, you prepare for an election a whole year or 3 months to the time. This is an election that you should be set. By 8, everybody should be on the polling booth queuing. So why are they waiting? What are they waiting for? The security agencies are all there. So what are the modalities that you are waiting for? And that is where the electoral law says you should have your fund available, so that you should plan with the fund available. Mm-hmm. That's why they said 1 year to the time, your budget should be treated well.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, let's come back now to the by-elections. It has been long coming in Cross River State. We know we had the senatorial by-elections in 2020, where the distinguished Senator Stephen O'Day emerged. Then the court came up, and you saw what happened there. Then later on, we are having today Ugoja Yala, and here in Akpabu. Let's look at this as the number one legislator. How do you feel Cross Riverians are seeing all of this?
This is the beauty of democracy. The gaps and vacuums must definitely be filled. For Akpabio, the woman died, a great woman. His position must be taken. And the legislature, we have a 25-man house, member house. So for us in the house, we need the people of Akpabio to be represented when we sit and decide the fate of Cross Riverians. For Ugoja Yala, there is need for us. Cross River cannot be subdued. We have 8 members in the green chambers. So there is need for us to fill that gap. And I think there is need. Cross River should be happy we are doing it now, because it cannot be subtained. So that democracy will also get to them. There are certain dividends that a member will bring. I mean, certain projects, especially at the national level, it should be able to fight for you, it should be able to work for you, it should be able to speak for you. That is the beauty.
Okay, so is it just the necessity to have that representation, or there's a constitutional backing to?
There is a constitutional backing, it's also necessary.
Okay.
But there's also a constitutional backing. We have 8 from Cross River, so not 7. So constitutional, everything, we are on time and right.
Okay, let's look at the State House of Assembly. For now, there are 24 at the moment. Now, whoever would emerge today, would have just about 15 months to be a part of the 9th Assembly. Do you think that person will have enough time to achieve anything, looking at the short space of time?
When you're doing your campaigns, you already know you're going to stay for 15 months. And you're making promises, and you're making certain statements. It's the person that should come and tell us what he will do, but definitely 15 months is enough. You achieve a lot under 1, 2, 3 days or 1 year, because you have a game plan, you have a mindset on what you're going to do. This is the legislature. You're going to speak for your people, you're going to work for your people. You must definitely. You're taking over from a woman that has done more than 2, 3 years. So, what again? You have your plans. You don't just come. That is why we must not elect anyhow. We must know the person's antecedent and know that he has the capacity to come and speak for his people.
Okay, so let's also look at, when you say that 1, 2, 3 days someone can actually achieve something, in the politics of Nigeria is actually laughable, because we have situations where 15 months, you said, Joseph?
Yeah,
15 months,
yeah.
yes. You have a situation where the person comes on board, 15 months, and the next electoral season, the person is saying, oh, I didn't, do what I had to do. I just have to rerun the elections so that I can actually, carry out my manifesto. We have situations like that.
This is the legislature. That is why when I read on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever and see people that want to run election making certain promises, I laugh. You want to go to Senate and you're telling them how you construct roads, how you build this. You are a parliamentarian. You should understand what the parliament is all about. So you must speak for your people, even if it is 5 days. Your voice is what we want to hear. We want to hear you. We want to see you speak about issues that concern your people.
Let's quickly get your concluding thought on what Janice raised before we pick up a few points from our correspondent, Gojayala. It's a question you were asking the speaker.
Yes, I was looking at, I talked about the issue of, us having different parties coming out very strong, to contest election, as against the tradition before, where we have just maybe a few.
It's good for us, and it's good for our democracy. The beauty of it is, even the candidates now know what to do, that if you don't perform, the other party will take over. We don't, not where you have one party system and everything is Uhuru. So now, even as a member, you just know that if you don't perform, in the next election you won't win.
Okay, but Mr. Speaker, it was also expected that, as the governor was crossing over to the ruling party, let me put it in the way we normally put it, being socketed to the center, it was, that every other person will fall in line.
No, politics is not like that. There are people that believe in the governor, there are people that don't, there are people that believe in the party manifesto, there are different views. So, the constitution is clear on you having the freedom of association. You should belong to where you want to. Nobody should force you. I will not force you to be in a party. I will not force you not to be or whatever. That is, you have that freedom. The Constitution is clear on that.
Okay, let's quickly take on one of the points our correspondent raised from Ogojayala. He talked about say, a heavy presence of security. And there are some people who, with that, can create fear and they would even step out. How do we remove this factor of always getting our politics militarized?
We are emergent. The entire country, Nigeria, we are facing this. Elections don't suppose to militarize. That is the true sense of it. But we found ourselves, let's be true to ourselves, where people come to a polling booth hijacked, maim people. So, what would the security? The essence of government is the security of the people, which is very important. It's one of the ultimate and core mandate of any government. And when the government feels if they don't, people will come and disrupt, killed, maim in the name of elections. It is a proactive way of checking violence. That is the only reason. But if it is in a normal situation, police, army, they have no business in the polling around that area. They don't have. But we find ourselves in situations where, often times, we face with such situations. So for us, it is the best thing. Protect the lives and property of people around that area.
We've also seen situations where, even with the heavy presence of the military, there's still violence, there's still bloodshed.
So that is, you can now imagine if they are not
there at all.
Yeah.
So, this is the situation we find ourselves, which is very bad. But as we progress, as our democracy keeps improving.
Okay. Another point that he raised there was that there's this consciousness politically. Now, maybe it is owing to the fact that Ogoja happens to be one of the oldest local governments in Nigeria, way back in 1976. Let's look at this issue of non-apathy. Because from what he sounded that people are coming out, you see the eagerness, they're going to the register to check their names and all of that. Do we owe this to maybe the kind of candidates that both parties have fielded?
It's all about the two political parties. Like what we've been saying here. When you field candidates, and now APC is working hard to win. PDP is also working very hard to win. And the only way to win is by pulling out people from their houses to come and vote. So your campaign all these days should be how people should come out to vote. And we are getting it right now. If that is, I won't speak much because I'm not there. I've not really had the reports there. We just had it from the reporter. If that is true, it's good for us and it's good for our democracy. It's really good for us. But I'll say a thumb up to President.
Okay, aside from military presence, heavy military presence that we talked about earlier, another presence in the state right now is the presence of mercenaries in and out of Cross River State, and that's on both flanks now. You have for APC, you have for PDP, the big wigs of the party coming in. What would that do to
No. I differ from what you're saying. They are not mercenaries.
Okay, not mercenaries, but big wigs of different political parties.
It's party politics. If I'm doing something in my place, I can invite my friends to come. If I know that bringing them will add value to what I'm doing, this is party politics, so it's not mercenaries. Mercenaries should be like now you bring people from Ebonyi or from Yako, Abi, or any other place to come to Ogoja. They are not part, they don't have any business. Those people you're calling mercenaries, I don't think they have any business in this election.
So why are they in the States? Why were they in the States?
They came to campaign for their party. They came to campaign. That's why every election, even if it's a local government, Mr. President might come to campaign. You want your party to win, so they are not mercenaries.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I think we just have to bring this session to an end. Cross Riverians are getting more politically conscious.
Yes.
And let's get your word for everyone taking part in today's exercise, both Goja Ayala and Akpabio, and also you. I'd love you to also chip this in. With the outcome of this by-elections in any way affects the 2020 general election, 2023 general elections?
First of all, I would say thumb up to Cross River, I mean, for us, people are coming out to vote. That's the beauty of democracy. And the outcome, yes, to an extent. You've campaigned, you've done your promises, you've shown you're the giant, you're whatever, you win. People will believe you. But for me, it might not even be. It might be deceptive. Whoever we put up, like I said, really matters at the end of the day. I don't know the candidates in Akpabio State Constituency. The two of them, I mean, I can't speak for them. I'm not close to them, but I only know that my party has a candidate that is very credible. I know that. I can't speak for the other candidate.
You don't know them yet, they are credible.
No, I mean, my party, we do a background check. I mean, we do a background check. I mean, we do a background check, and I know. The only words, if you check, I'm not even there to campaign. I mean, whoever comes from that end is going to join me in the house. That is it. I don't want to be, I have to be a statesman in this. They're coming to the house. I'm the speaker of that house. Whether you're APC or PDP, you're going to be a member. So I don't want us to have a particular feelings when you're coming in, you know. But for Gojayala, I know the two of them. They are our friends. I mean, this is elections that I keep telling people. It's very difficult because the two of them are our friends. Jude Ngaji, I mean, you know, Michael Sibi. I mean, the two of them, they are good. They are our candidates, but I will always prefer Jude.
Because you're APC now.
Yeah, I'm APC and he's my candidate. So, but I mean, on a serious note, I mean, to be fair, and as a statesman, I'll tell you, if all elections will put up two credible candidates like that, then we are ready. We are good to go. Okay. As a state.
So what's your final word?
Okay, your final word to Cross Riverins.
Let there be no violence. Come out, vote. You can stay a distance that the law stipulates and follow it to the letter until the results are announced. Don't go there with any tools. Elections is just a process. So we have a very credible election at the end. A winner emerges and represents, or immediately you emerge, you are no more a candidate of a party. You are either speaking for Cross River and your people. So there is no point for us to use machete guns to kill. No. Let there be no violence, let there be peace everywhere. And the world should come and learn how to conduct election from the state Cross River.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Speaker of the Cross River State House of
And I will not fail to tell you, I still support my APC.
Oh, wow. Ending on the same note.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Etting Jonas Williams. Thank you very much, sir. Your people have heard you and they'll do the very best. Hopefully by next month, you will see and have a new entrance into the hallowed chamber. Okay, don't go away. We'll go on a very short break, and when we are back, Janice and I will do a wrap on this segment. Stay with us.
Definitely. We'll be right back.